Hi, my name is Briana Valencia.
And I'm Kevin Kanawati.
And welcome to TWVocalize. Today we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court and everything they've been up to, which is a lot. I keep saying already. Well, it's because there's so many thoughts in my head on what we're going to talk about today, but let's just dive right into it. Real quick, before I forget, ballots have dropped today, so make sure everyone is going out to do early voting and tracking your ballot online at the Maricopa County website. But let's just dive right back into why we're mad.
So SCOTUS ruling gives Border Patrol and Customs impunity. The Supreme Court just ruled in June 2022, the Border Patrol can't enter any home without a warrant and assault you within 100 miles of the border. And no, you have zero federal protections if they do so. So they basically have free range to do whatever they want, and they can get away with anything.
Up next on what the Supreme Court has been up to. State funds for schools can be used for religious schools. So, June 21, 2022, the court ruled that parents in rural districts lacking public high schools, but who receive state aid to send their children to private schools, instead can use that money for tuition at schools with faith-based curriculum. In a 63 order, the court held the Maine's requirement that tuition assistance payments be used as non-sectarian schools violated the free exercise of clause of the First Amendment because parents could not send their children to the schools of their choice.
One of the most disappointing news that occurred over the last couple of weeks was Roe v. Wade was overturned, obviously impacting a lot of women in the United States and a lot of states implementing a lot of abortion bans.
Yeah, and these are just three of the most recent ones. There's like a lot. There was the Supreme Court just ruled that the EPA no longer. It was something with the EPA. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember. I just did a whole thing on this.
You're okay.
No, but yeah, there's a lot that the Supreme Court is doing, and it's just kind of like let's just break down exactly what these mean. Okay, so. Let's talk about the border, because that right there is just kind of crazy to me. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine, Kevin, that you live 100 miles from the border, and you're getting home from a long day at work, and you come home in your house. What do you find?
Just a bunch of
agents in your home, in your living room.
And they could get away with anything they want, take anything they want, damage anything.
Raid your home because they suspect something, or they're hiding people. You're just living your everyday life at your house, and these people are just going to be able to literally go in. And that sounds like a home invasion. To me, it is a home invasion.
It's a grand invasion of your privacy and your own home. And it's just, there's no line that's there anymore, and they're willing to cross it. And I do think there's going to be a lot of profiling because of this. They're
definitely
just going to say any excuse. I saw him near the border, or I felt there's something unstable or at least suspicious due to his household or him going in, and I just had to check it out. And that is obviously a lot of that's going to be a lot of bullcrap, but it's just intense and disheartening that we allowed this as our nation, just to allow agents just to come into someone's home and to cause all damages. This could affect everyone if they want to just.
There's a lot of border towns that are 100 miles from the border, so it's just thinking about all of these people that are going to be harassed, and it's just we all know, let's not sit here and pretend that this is statistically speaking, especially Phoenix police is the deadliest in the nation. So I'm thinking, what are other police officers they don't have a good track record. So for me to sit here and state there's probably going to be some ICE agents or Border Patrol agents that are going to literally target and single out individuals because they live by the border and they're going to go do stuff that is shocking to me, and it's really scary. I don't think people are scared enough for these people who live along these border towns, because it's just it can be your family member, it can be anyone, and that's not okay.
Yeah, it's just people living. I wouldn't doubt people living at least in a 100-mile radius of a border probably are just scared, especially if they know they're going to be targeted by agents and Border Patrol and all that. It just seems once again just an unnecessary attack upon people, and especially people of color, who live in that community, because they could just have a free grounds of investigation and not get any kind of punishment for it, whether, like I said previously, damaging their home, taking property if they so choose so, just a lot of things they could get away with, and it's just, there's no accountability, and there should be some type of accountability when you do that, especially if you're going to be damaging and or taking things that don't even belong as evidence.
And it's just like, it's like kind of crazy how our thoughts go to like these agents, these Border Patrol agents are going to go in and like damage stuff, because it's kind of like a given. Like, what else would they be going in there for? Exactly. Like, you have no business going into people's homes without their permission. Just, like, I don't know. That's where our thoughts automatically go, and that kind of just says a lot about Border Patrol agents and, like, the relationship they have with the community, especially, like, people of color are going to definitely be targeted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm pretty sure why they said damages, because they know that they're going to have a hard time getting in, so they want to get away with, oh, we could kick down your house, we could break your window and to come in, or whatever, break down even more things. Yeah. It's just disgusting and very just, it's not this whole America that we dream of, the land of the free, home of the brave. It's just cowards and immediate invasions of just
privacy. What's all that right to privacy people speak about so much, and it's just like only when it like pertains to them. But everyone else, they're like, no, they don't deserve that. And then, like, let's talk a little bit about, like, state funds for schools, and they can be used for religious schools. So already we're having a really bad, like, hard time getting funding for public education, or public schools, I mean. And, you know, retaining students, and with all these vouchers and everything that's going on, what I, like, think is crazy is, like, they don't want people to teach, like, other people's religions in schools, but, like, oh, no, Christianity is okay, or Catholicism. But it's just, like, if it's the right religion, you can, you know, do it in schools. But if they want to allow Christianity and all of these other religions, then they need to allow every single religion. That means Satanism or everything. Because if you're allowed to pray to Jesus in class, then I should be allowed to pray to the devil, and you should be okay with it, because you said we're all allowed to practice religion.
Yeah,
like
it's definitely going to have like discriminative beliefs on whose religion gets the upper hand and whose doesn't, and it's just like clearly, obviously, Catholic schools and Christian schools. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those schools, but there's definitely a political power that they're going to prioritize them, because that's their beliefs and that's their whole driven to do so. So they're going to leave out a lot of Muslim churches, a lot of, whether it's Satanism or Buddha churches. I don't know if I pronounced that right. There's just going to be a lot of religions. Yeah, all of them are just going to be left over. And I think he even said, someone, I think like a couple weeks ago, someone said like, okay, if you're going to just mandate this to be them to get some funding, then you should definitely do like whether it's the Muslims or Satan.
Yeah, give money to their schools. You're not just going to pick and choose what religion you're going to support and like it fits your agenda. And I think that like leading into that goes back into like something with like this right here. Okay, so talking about funding for religious schools, right? And this is what you believe, and you should be able to send your kids to whatever religion you do, right? Because that's what you practice. That's what you believe in, and those are your teachings and your beliefs, not everyone else's. And I think we can lead right back into Roe v. Wade. Like, people literally love to talk so much about the Bible and whatever Bible, like they're, you know.
And there's this one video that I saw, and it just expressed it very well. Like, whether your beliefs are not to have an abortion, whether you believe that because of your religion or personal viewpoints on life, that's fantastic. Don't do it. You shouldn't be pressured, and I'll respect you for what you do. However, respect my choices to do what I want to believe in and what to do with my own personal life, because it's just, well, not me, but more effectively like women, it's because it's just, it's none of your business. You can't force someone's belief. You can't say the argument of like, the Bible said this and Jesus said that, because not a lot of people believe in your religion, and your religion's not the best thing in the world. It is to you, but it's not as a whole to certain people. So you got to understand that, and that might frustrate you, and might make you upset. Not, I feel like I'm talking towards the audience, but like you have to just be you just gotta accept it. You just gotta be okay with people have different beliefs.
The world's not about you.
Exactly.
Like, it's literally not about you. It's where we all live here on this earth. And you can see all the policies and the politicians and the lack of education for schools, lack of childcare. There's no paid maternity leave for women, let alone for fathers. Like, imagine, like, mothers aren't getting it. Like, you know, there's two parents. We can barely keep up with, like, the cost of living. We can't buy a home. But you know what? If you get pregnant, you're going to be forced to carry that child. Not only that, a lot of these people don't want to give money for social programs, food stamps, health care, like affordable housing. So it's just like, I don't understand why they're making it harder for people to like live, but oh yeah, like you can't afford to have this child, so have it anyways, whether you like it or not, because my religion, what I believe in, says so.
And I find it ridiculous that, especially for people who are victims of rape and or incest, in Arizona, like if you're a victim of one of those, you're crap out of luck. Like you're gonna have to have that baby, and it's just terrible kind of like system. Why would they think that's an okay publication of a law to just give for every other citizen that lives in Arizona? It just doesn't make sense. Like it's not your right to choose whether or not you think they could live with that and carry that burden. If you want to say that you're so against abortions and so pro-life, then fund schools, fund people's children, adopt children, do a bunch of things that's actually going to, if you're so pro for it, then why the hell are you not doing the other initiatives that actually impact children when they get older? Like there's so many orphans who do not get adopted. There's so many cares for facilities for children that just get like the lowest amounts of education, the lowest amounts of medical help, the lowest amount of just exercise, especially, and feeding. Why are you so pro-life, but then once the baby's born, you're like, screw them? I
feel like it's like there's this idea that they're like, I don't know, so like in love with about like, oh, like life this and life that, but like what happens when this like child is born? Like, why do you start hating it for needing social programs? Like, you were the one that wanted it like to be born so bad. So I don't understand. One thing that irks me too is that like people, like, I understand rape and incest happen, but that shouldn't also be the only reason women should allow to get abortions. If the simple thought of them just being like, you know what, I don't want this baby, that should be enough. It shouldn't be just rape or incest. The simple choice of like, hey, I don't think I could do this, or they don't want a child, because like we can't sit here and pretend sex doesn't happen. Like it's a normal thing. And like stuff happens. Like, and one thing like I think is like so crazy is that people push their their religious agendas on people so bad, but like forbid that we like talk bad about like the religion. Like you're the only person that believes in it, and like and like at the end of the day, it's just like, and it's like, I'm not trying to be harsh, but actually it's like no one cares about it except you. Like whatever God someone believes in, to another person, you're praying to like an imaginary person. Like.
If you have an issue with it, like I love Jimmy Carter. He's one of my favorite presidents because he's just such a sweet human being. Farm, one, I love him. And I think he was interviewed. I don't know if it was recently or in the '90s. I kind of forget what his face looked like.
No, recently or the '90s is a really big
gap. I don't remember when it was. He was out of office, that's for sure. But
like, there's a really big time gap between that, Kevin.
And when he was being interviewed, they asked him like, "Hey, what do you think about abortions?" And he stated like clearly like, well, I'm not really for it. I don't think that's what I believe in. However, that's not my choice to choose. It's for the woman to decide. So even that guy who's like extremely religious, you can see his life right now. He's such a freaking great human being.
He's really building houses.
Yeah, he's building houses at 90 freaking 2, like swollen eye. He's the new Mr. Rogers. Like, he's just such a sweet person, and he's still...
Mr. Rogers, leave him alone.
Okay, he's a fantastic person. But, like, you can't just, like, understand... Like, even when I went to the March for Our Life... No, not March for Our Life. Roe v. Wade march when it happened in Arizona. There's even a Christian mother that I saw that was like, I'm a proud Christian, but I believe in abortions. Like, there's a good separation from faith and reproduction organs and how it could cause to not only your body, but the circumstances of what happened to you. So like, I just don't understand, if those people could separate those two ideologies or just situations, why can't you as well? Like, it's that simple. do not put your personal beliefs into something that you want to believe. Like, if you're going to be a science teacher, you can't be a science teacher just like, I don't believe in evolution, so here we go. Like, that's
yeah, you can't pick and choose.
You should not be in charge of that.
But it's just like, you know, when people are like, oh, like, you don't believe in this, but like, you're living with your partner, you're not married, or like, you know, I'm pretty sure God doesn't like chismosos. Like, but yet there you are, like, and you gossip and you drink and you do all these things, but you get to
but
pick.
On Sunday, you're a good person.
No, like, you get to pick and choose like what fits your agenda, and I think that goes back into like state funds for schools and like what the Supreme Court did, because like now people are going to be pushing their religious ideas like on children, and children are very like.
And if you believe that that's like the worst things ever, like in the Bible, there's love thy neighbor and love thy enemy, and treat like.
And I hate that we always just talk about Christianity, because there's so many other religions. People, Christianity is like what? There's people that believe in all kinds of other stuff. Like that's not, but yet we're like living our lives based on that, because people, I'm gonna just be honest, like a lot of people don't care about like your imaginary God. Yeah. Like, and it's just like, to me, it's imaginary. Like there is no
your own
proof.
Belief.
Yeah.
And like. You shouldn't push.
I can believe in a gummy bear, and I go out to the freaking Supreme Court and be like, oh, a gummy bear says you can't do that. Like, and everyone's like, okay, you got a point. Like,
there's a march for, I think it's 2016, for a spaghetti god. It was the funniest thing.
That's just kind of like proving, like, you know, and it's just like everyone has a religion and they're welcome to it. That's what this country was built on. They literally escaped religious persecution. So how are you going to persecute other people with your religion?
Like, I get if you're very proud. I'm one person who's always been fascinated with religions.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I think it's very peaceful, and some of the meetings for it is just absolutely beautiful.
Makes you a better person.
Yeah, and to a degree. But like, I think if you're going to hold those standards, you have to understand people have different standards and different beliefs. Don't force things. Like, I don't think your God, especially if it's Christianity, Jesus doesn't believe in like causing hate. Didn't he cause?
But then they're outside Planned Parenthood spewing Jesus hates you because they're going into appointments to go get some medicine. They're not even there for that.
Who are you to say what Jesus thinks? Like, for all you know, he's probably like, "Yo, chill." Like, it doesn't make sense why you're speaking for someone else.
Shaking his head.
Yeah, like there's a ton of things that are outdated in the Bible, and there's a ton of things that are just understandable. But like, you just can't force those beliefs, ideologies, those passions onto someone else. If I love basketball, I'm not going to force my significant other to be like, you got to freaking love it. That's the game plan of you being with me. No.
You got to wear a jersey.
Yeah, you got to wear a jersey. You got to root for my team. Can't root for the other people. They're the devil. Like, you got to be okay and understanding that people are just different.
Imagine, like, if every single person practiced their religion and minded their business, like, and kept their religion, like, at the religion, kept it out of like our government. Like, how amazing! How amazing this, because you can do all of that. We can have government and you can have religion. It's not like either or, but you can't mix them together. Like, because look at the mess that's happening.
Exactly.
And I don't know. This is just such. What is that? This is such Handmaid's Tale vibes. Like, and I'm scared. Like, it's really scary. Like, honestly, like, as a woman, and especially in Arizona, we have a Republican governor who has been open about his stances on what he thinks about abortion. So there goes my rights.
And it ties back to how I feel about Jimmy Carter. He doesn't. At least he's a person of power.
Promotion.
I love him. I love him so much. Like I said, he doesn't believe in it, but he accepts, and like you gotta do what you gotta do.
It's like, you know what? We're not promoting Jimmy Carter. Kevin's just a fan.
I am just a fan. He's such a nice person. I want to meet him. I'm afraid I'm gonna like get COVID and get him sick.
You know, just stay away from Jimmy Carter, Kevin, because
I'll like him in the distance. I'm like, hey, good job.
He's like, you know what? No, but I definitely get what you're saying. I think like the biggest takeaway we can see about this is like we need to pay attention to what the Supreme Court is doing, because it's like in Spanish there's this term, this saying, it says plan con maña. It's like plan with like you plan stuff to come out a certain way, like, you know, like to be sneaky. So I don't know, this with the Supreme Court ruling this with the Border Patrol, now we can fund religious schools, Roe v. Wade overturn. Like, I feel like there's an agenda going on, and it's like, what is next? Because I have no doubt in my mind that this is just the beginning of what's like to come, and that's really scary. But I think the biggest takeaway is like we need to register to vote.
Yep, register to vote. Make sure to stop us from going backwards. It feels like we're going back to how we had ideologies in the 50s and 60s. I said that word wrong, but you got to be better. But.
Yeah. When ballots drop today, make sure you track your ballot and you turn your ballot in early. It's primary season, and we have to make sure we're voting people that are gonna hold other politicians and themselves accountable and actually
are for the people, not for their own ideologies or beliefs.
Yeah, and actually do what they say they're gonna do and fight for these communities, because if we don't fight for ourselves, I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Because this is crazy, because I'm 25 years old and I seen this interview where this woman was like 70. She's like, I've never had this happen before in my life. Like, I've always had those rights as a woman. And I'm like, we're in 2022. What do you mean you just snatched them away from me like that?
It's just it's just so disheartening.
But it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to like try our best to keep you updated on what's going on with the Supreme Court and on this year's election. So make sure you register to vote and keep updated on our vlogcast and on our social medias. And if you want to register to vote, go to TWV, Tomorrow We Vote. And Brant has a bajillion, like little clicky things. I forgot the name of them. But catch us next time.
Bye, guys.